All right, guys. So I think I'm going to start a new series here on some story time, I guess you want to call it, as other channels have. But I'm going to tell you some the stories and things I ran into when I was a farm equipment mechanic. Like I said, for those of you who are new, I worked 10 years for a Case IH dealer, and we pretty well worked on everything from a weed whacker all the way up to a combine, log skidders. We did some case construction, skid steers, bulldozers, anything with Case or Case IH on it, and even some other brands we had worked on. We didn't turn anybody away. Anyway, I was thinking the other day of some of the stupid service calls that I had to go on that were they're funny now, but at the time they were such a waste of time and effort and energy. And not to pick on any of these poor customers, but it was kind of funny. And sometimes the solution is pretty obvious, and it's funny, some people, that when something doesn't go or something doesn't work right, that's where they stop. There's no looking into it. There's no diagnosing. There's no sense of, let me see what's wrong here and see if I can't fix it. We had a lot of calls like that, that the problem was something very simple, and basically wouldn't have had to call a mechanic out for $70-some an hour. But it happens, and I'm sure it happens everywhere, and nobody's immune to it. So I'll get right into it. I'll give you a lawn and garden story, and I'll give you a farm story. So we start with the lawn and garden. Somebody had called, and their lawnmower that they just bought, it was a brand new Cub Cadet. We sold Cub Cadets. Brand new Cub Cadet lawnmower, riding mower. He was mowing his lawn. He finished cutting. He had it parked outside his garage. He came back later, and it won't start. Won't do anything. And he was pretty unhappy. On the phone, the parts person had said that he was very upset that he just bought a brand new mower and it better be under warranty, and he can't see why something brand new would shut off and wouldn't restart. It was brand new, and he only used it a little bit, and there's nothing he did wrong or is doing wrong, and somebody needs to get out here within the next hour or he's going to return it, and he wants his refund, and he'll never buy another Cub Cadet product as long as he lives. And you can pretty well see the direction that this guy was going. So I was the lucky candidate at that time that I was sent out to figure out what the issue was. We had a full-time lawn and garden mechanic, and we had two full-time farm equipment mechanics, and I was the guy that could go to either side of the shop. I wasn't opposed to, I'd work on anything. In the spring, like I said, a lot of my job was working on lawnmowers, and then when farm got busy, I'd go over and work over there and make service calls for that. So I was pretty flexible in what I could do there. So I got to go out and see what the problem was. So get in the service truck, get the directions, and I think this was before GPS, so I had a printout from the map for where his house was. So I pull into this housing development. You're talking $300,000 houses, $400,000 houses, real nice area. Every driveway's paved. Every house has the white picket fence and the pool in the backyard. So I get there, and sure enough, there's the Cub Cadet sitting out in front of the garage. The guy comes out of the house. He's ranting and raving about how this brand new lawnmower won't start, and it's shut off, and he didn't do anything wrong, and if it better be under warranty, and he's not paying the bill, and on and on and on. And I just couldn't help but smile and try not to laugh, because I saw right away he had the PTO switch pulled out to engage the mower. And for those of you that have newer mowers, you know that if you aren't sitting on the seat and have your foot on the brake/clutch pedal, and if your PTO isn't off, it won't start. And I just let him rant and rave. I wanted to make it, to try to calm him down and not make him feel so dumb. But I got on the seat. I said, I see what the problem is. And I pushed the switch off, and it started right up. So this poor guy was that embarrassed, and he apologized up and down. I think he called later to apologize. And I told him, I said, yeah, I said, there's safety switches on these. You have to make sure they're all they're all in where they need to be, or it's not going to start. Well, he knew that, and he felt stupid, and that was the one service call that I had, and had a laugh the whole way home. And when I got back to the shop, the guys in the shop really got a laugh out of it too. So, I mean, it's I don't need to get into it. Anyway, second story, farm. Like I said, I had made service calls to New Jersey. There wasn't a lot of support, dealer support in New Jersey for International or Gale or anything like that. And a lot of times they called us over in Pennsylvania, and we'd have to run out and do the work, whatever it is. So we get a call. Guys, I think it was a dairy farm, guys chopping corn, and the chopper, it's not chopping right. That's all he kept saying. It's not chopping right. The corn is too stringy. It's too long. It's not making fine enough silage. And he was fed up with the thing, and he needed a mechanic because he wasn't going to get into it. And he had all this ground that he had to get chopped, and his equipment isn't working, and kind of the same deal as the other guy. When people get frustrated, they start making threats and everything else. And anyway, so again, I was the lucky guy that was elected to drive to New Jersey to diagnose what the problem was. And they sent me brand new knives. I had a whole set of chopper knives. It was a Gale 1085 Ford chopper. I was sent a shear bar. I was sent a whole bunch of parts to go along to try to get this thing to chop finer. I had new bearings for everything. And I figured this was going to be a long day. So it was like a 2.5, 3 hour drive to this guy's place, and driving out of the country through Jersey, through tolls and everything else. It was not my cup of tea. The directions I had weren't very good. Like I say, no GPS, and I couldn't find the guy's place, and I was supposed to be there at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just getting into New Jersey and have no idea where his place is. My directions aren't making sense, and I didn't get to his place till almost 11 o'clock. I had to stop and ask somebody directions, and I'm lucky the guy knew where he was. So I get there an hour late. He wasn't very happy, but I explained to him I was lost, and anyway, flip all the lids open. The knives look good. The knives are sharp. He had just sharpened them. There wasn't an issue with the knives. And in about 2 minutes, I could tell the problem right away. The shear bar wasn't adjusted right. And the shear bar looked good. It wasn't rounded over. It was still pretty solid. I couldn't find any bearings that were out of whack. So I don't know if it was a 15/16 wrench off the service truck, and walked over. Couple turns to the right on one side, couple turns to the left on the opposite side. I had him run it slow, brought it to a tick, backed it off 1/8 of an inch or whatever the adjustment was. I don't remember. And I turned it pretty far to get it to where it had to go. And I said, well, the only thing I could tell you now is try it. So I followed him to the field with the service truck through the woods and up, down. It was a trek to get there. And he started chopping, and the silage was blowing in the wagon. He made a round, and he stopped, and he said, perfect. It's exactly what he wants. Thank you. Have a nice day. I just drove 2.5 hours to take a 15/16 wrench and turn it about, 5-6 turns around on either side to adjust it. And that was it. 2.5 hour drive back home through tolls, through traffic, and what a day that was. So yeah, I have a lot more of these interesting stories from being a mechanic, so I'll make this a regular thing. Maybe every Friday I'll have a new story for you guys. So there's people out there that they just don't want to be bothered by some of this stuff. And you know, it takes all kinds of people. I mean, those are the same type of people that would take something to the auction that had a minor issue, and it's actually a pretty good deal for somebody that can fix the problem. So it takes all types, I guess. But yeah, there's two interesting stories from being a mechanic. So thanks for watching, guys.